Quake Live is essentially just a redesign and update of the original Quake 3 Arena, which this game actually, if I'm not mistaken, used to be a free-to-play plug-in that you could download on your browser. I remember playing it once or twice actually on there, but since then it's become a paid-to-play game on Steam, and I think that's a little bit of a weird model that you would start off as a free-to-play and then eventually charge people $10 to play it. But I mean, it's still a really cool game and it's a lot of fun to play. So I mean, I don't know. It was already in my library and I have no idea what I paid for it, so I really can't tell you anything about that. Personally, I've never been a super big fan of the Quake series, although I know that it essentially paved the road for a lot of the first-person shooter genre in itself, which is really cool. I've just never really gotten into any of the games, and I know that they're all really essentially the same thing. I mean, just from my point of view at least, they all seem like they're the same game, but I mean, this one's really cool just because it kind of has that old school look to it, and there's over 100 maps from a lot of the different games, and then there's even some community maps or developer made maps that got added to this game, which I thought was really cool. So it gives you a lot of variety, and plus there's 12 different game modes that you can play, and I mean there's a lot of actual gameplay time that you could sink into this just by playing the different game modes and mixing and matching. One thing that I do really like about this game compared to a lot of their first-person shooters and stuff like that is if you're going to play something and you want it to be fast-paced, this is it. This is the ultimate fast-paced experience. Whereas you could play something like Call of Duty or something and say this is a fast-paced shooter compared to a lot of stuff like Battlefield or whatever, etc. But this game is literally just you jumping around, hitting little bounce pads, and there's teleporters that fly you all over the map, and you can buddy hop through all kinds of stuff, and you just the way you traverse the map is so quickly is amazing to me, and it brings a whole another level of skill to the game. Because this really is the most skill-based shooter I've ever seen, because there's tons of different weapons and you have to utilize the movement of the game, and there's a lot to it to get good at it. I'm sure by the footage on screen you can see that I really suck balls at this and I got my ass kicked a lot, but hey, I mean, that was part of the experience. While I was looking through a lot of the reviews for this game on the Steam page, a lot of people were saying that they really like this game and it's really good, and I mean it's got that old school Quake feel to it. But there's a handful of people that were super upset that the game is not free to play anymore, which I mean I can understand that gripe. If you're gonna have a game that starts off as free to play and you enjoy playing it and everything, to see that it all of a sudden has a price tag on it that you have to purchase to keep enjoying the game that you were playing, that's a little shitty. But I mean, I have no idea really how to weigh in on that situation, because I mean this is an older game and I don't know why they would really put a price tag on it to begin with. But I mean, it's only $10 and I'm sure you can find it on sale if it does go on sale. I don't think I've personally ever seen this game on sale, but I mean, I don't know. Other than that, if you really wanted to play a Quake game, I guess you could play the newer Quake one that came out. I think it's Quake Champions. That one is actually free to play, and it's a lot more updated and newer, which I don't know if that's what you would want, because I mean this really is the old school Quake feel. But I mean, that's really the only thing I could tell you, I guess. The game originally came out in 2010, so I mean, as you can kind of expect, it's almost a decade later, so there's not a whole lot of actual traffic on the game. I could only find a handful of servers that actually had a decent amount of players in it, and I mean that's kind of the downfall of playing something like this, is that it's kind of gotten to the point to where there's not as many players playing the game overall. So I mean, take that into account. I probably wouldn't purchase this game if you were really looking into it, just because the player base is slowly dwindling down. But I mean, it was a lot of fun while I played it, and like the game mode that I was playing was I think it was Clan Wars, which is the one where if you die, you basically have to wait for the round to end before you respawn, because it's like 2 teams going against each other, and then the last team standing is the winner of the round. I like that game mode a lot, actually. Like, but I mean, honestly, I couldn't find a lot of other lobbies that were playing different game modes, so I mean, that's kind of where the whole lower player base thing kind of really comes into effect, is that you can't really take advantage of all the variety this game has to like offer anymore, just because there's not that many people playing it anymore. Also, one other thing worth mentioning though is that because this game is a little bit older and there's not a whole lot of people playing it, I've found that the people that are playing it are pretty much seasoned veterans, or just people who really know what they're doing at this point, whereas I was just kind of running around trying my best to get a kill. Some of these people were just like insane. Like later, once I got done with the first match, it kind of put us into a smaller match where it was like just like there was one guy who was just running around and like pretty much dominating my whole team, and like it was a miracle for any of us to kill him. So that was like a huge achievement in itself for like just our team to like win a round. So I mean, that was kind of rough. We fucking did it! Altogether, this isn't really a bad game by any means. I actually enjoyed a lot of the like fast-paced action that it has to offer, but just the low player base and just the time that like has taken a toll on this game, it just really isn't like, I couldn't really consider it worth buying just because there's such little like activity. But I mean, it was fun, and if you're actually looking to play some sort of Quake game, I would definitely look into some of the other options, because there's a whole like library's worth of like Quake games just on Steam itself. So I mean, I don't know, definitely look into that. But I would give this game like a 2.5, like a solid, you know, cut down the middle, pretty average, I guess. But I mean, it definitely is a unique game, and it has a lot of fun to offer, but just those like, you know, downsides of, you know, whatever really bring it down to where I can't really give it much of a better score than that. So I mean, you know, take it for what it's worth, I guess. Other than that though, I would say that this was a pretty good video. I had a lot of fun playing this game. But yeah, should be some links on the screen if you guys want to click on some of those other videos and watch those, or if you want to subscribe, the link's in the middle. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching.